Hello and welcome to my Tarot Corner. So first I have to apologize, first of all, for yesterday. Boy, I was exhausted. I was really exhausted. I don't remember when I was so exhausted. Ever since I began being sick, I never had such a busy day like I had yesterday. It was really, really difficult. And although it was enjoyable, because I really enjoy helping people, I enjoy treating children. I had some very difficult cases, children that were hospitalized, and so many let's say that way, so many sick children, very, very sick children, which is really surprising, because usually we see very sick children in the winter time, not so many in the summertime, but still it was really, really hard. And I just didn't have any energy for tarot readings. So while I was resting, so many things happened that it's really hard to take them all in. Harry is going probably to the UN next week for the Nelson Mandela Day. And at first it was, they tried to portray it as if he's going to talk to the assembly of the UN. Then it came out that it's not really the assembly that he's going to talk to, but a gathering of people that are coming there to commemorate Nelson Mandela, and the very hypocritical thing that he's going to talk about climate change. So what is he going to say about climate change that we haven't heard yet from a person that is taking private jets everywhere and driving a big SUV and living in a 16-bathroom mansion with vast yards and a big swimming pool in California, which is a drought country, a country who suffers from droughts and shortage of water. So really it is quite hypocritical that he's going to talk about climate change in the UN, no matter whether it is in the assembly or not. And as a big backlash for this, the hashtag Harry is racist started trending on Twitter. Something that he probably wasn't very happy to see. And then today I heard someone say that he decided to refuse the UN. So I'm not sure whether or not it's going to actually become a reality. I tried looking for some kind of corroboration for that. That was in a video from one of the YouTubers, and I didn't find any corroboration to that claim. So as far as I know, Harry and Meghan are going back to New York to the UN to talk about climate change. But that's not the reason of this reading. One more thing that came out was about their bodyguard. Apparently they hired a bodyguard that used to work for the Jackson family, and apparently that bodyguard was arrested twice for DUI and driving without a license, and also was arrested, and I understand that he was also in jail for domestic abuse, which is something that really, I mean, aren't you checking the people that you are hiring? So this is what I'm going to read about. And I'm going to start with an archetype card. Now you can see that I am shuffling the deck in a way that I will get both two sides of the cards, because these cards of the archetype by Caroline MYSS are each one of them have a bright side and a shadow side. So I'm going to ask for the archetype of that bodyguard, and we will see if we will get the shadow side or the bright side of the card. Just let me get the name of that person. So his name is Mr. Alvarez, and I'm going to start with clearing the deck. Okay, so what is the archetype of Mr. Alvarez, who works as a bodyguard and used to work for the Sussexes and used to work as a bodyguard for the Jackson family, was arrested for DUI and domestic abuse. What is the archetype of Mr. Alvarez, who is the bodyguard of the Sussexes and was arrested for DUI and for domestic abuse? So let's see what we get. And the card that I am getting is, first of all, light attributes of a student. So someone who has humility and devotion to knowledge, openness to lifelong learning. It's funny because I did get that card for for Harry himself once. The shadow side of this card is arrogance in the pursuit of destructive knowledge, unwillingness to translate knowledge into action. So I think that although this card came up in the upright position, we can look at this card and the shadow attributes of it. But maybe Mr. Alvarez decided to rehabilitate. Maybe he went through some kind of a rehabilitation program. I don't know. So that I don't know how long ago those things happened, and what did he do to get out of jail. Sometimes people that are in jail because of domestic abuse go through some kind of courses in order to control their violence, or in order to control their urges. Maybe he decided to go to Alcoholic Anonymous, and this is why we get the student card. So it is about someone who is in a way maybe trying to correct his way. If we're looking at the light attributes of this card, if we're looking at the shadow attributes of this card, it could be someone who is arrogant. Maybe that was how he managed to convince Harry and Meghan that he is a good choice for them as a bodyguard. But and it could be that he is unwilling to translate knowledge into action, so that he did learn or he did have some kind of lesson about not driving while you're under the influence, but he wasn't willing to make that knowledge, translate that knowledge into action. So, but that is the archetype of that person. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a new deck that is called the Essential Tarot. And it is a takeoff of the Rider-Waite tarot, but not a straight Rider-Waite clone. And I'm going to take out a few cards, probably 4 card and maybe the underlying message, or in 1 card in the middle, and see what are the energies around the fact that the Sussexes decided to hire him. Did they know that he was that he had those criminal records? And what can we see for the future? Will they keep on keep him on, or will they, or maybe they already dismissed him? So let's start by clearing the deck. Sorry, once more. Okay, so energies around the fact that Mr. Alvarez was hired by the Sussexes, although he had a criminal record as a DUI driver and someone who had a past of domestic abuse. What are the energies around the fact that the Sussexes decided to hire him? Did they know about that? And are they going to keep him on? What are the energies around Mr. Alvarez as the bodyguard of the Sussexes despite his criminal record? So let's cut the deck. And as I said, I am just going to take a few cards and see what are the energies around this. So the first card that I'm getting is the 4 of Swords. The 4 of Swords, yes. The 4 of Swords, that is a card that speaks about deciding not to decide, and not being unable to make a decision. So this is a card that just shows us that although right now it came out about that this person has a criminal record, they are not ready to make a decision as to whether or not they are going to keep him on. So right now they are taking their time. They're taking some kind of a pause, looking into the backlash, waiting to see if it will subside, because as you know, things are happening all the time and every day something new comes out. So and then next week Revenge is going to come out. That's Tom Bauer's book. So if you haven't seen my message about that, so go to my community tab and see what I wrote about that and how to get it. But as I understand, it's already available as a Kindle version as well. So if you don't want to spend so much money on a hardcover book. Anyway, so this is about not being ready to make a decision, not being ready to do something. This is about feeling wounded in a way, feeling sick, having this wish for some kind of a remission from difficult reality, but also running away from problems. So this is what this card shows us, and this is the current energy that the Sussexes are feeling right now with regard to Mr. Alvarez. So that is the first card. The second card is the 4 of Wands. So that's another 4. And as I told you, the tarot is being, every suit is being divided into 3 cycles. There is the cycle from the Ace until the Three of Wands. That's from number 1 to number 3. When number 1 is the perfect ace, the ace is the perfect, almost unattainable energy, and then it breaks, and the number 2 is always some kind of, it's also always some kind of action needed, or some kind of need for to make a decision, or some kind of some kind of starting the road of to get into the 10. And then the number 3 is the result of the first cycle. In the Wands, for example, the Three of Wands is a card of cooperation and recognition. In the Pentacles, it's a card of cooperation and reward. In the Swords, it's a card of devastation. In the Cups, it's a card of celebration. So each suit has its own first result. And then we get to the 4, which is the first, the second card in, or the second energy in which there is some kind of action needed, or some kind of decision to make. And in the 4 of Swords, they are unable to make any decision, and they are unable to do anything. Their hands are tied, as you can see here. In the 4 of Wands, it is about going out going out on a victory quest. So a quest that they want it to end into 6 of Wands, which is the victory card, but enjoying the road. So the 4 of Wands is a card that speaks about being able to go on some kind of road, some kind of quest, without thinking about the results, but being able to enjoy the road, to think about the what are you going to learn while you're going through that quest, what is going to happen, what are the adventures that you're going to have. And so that is the upright, or that is the positive aspects of this card. So this is a card that speaks about marriage, because marriage is some kind of a road. This is a card that speaks about an engagement, which is the beginning of this commitment for a marriage. But this is also a card that speaks about going out on an adventure. But this is also a card that speaks about sacrificing for a cause, or sacrificing the present for the future. So realizing that if you want to get to that victory in the end, maybe you need to sacrifice what you're doing in the present. So many times it is a person that is unable to enjoy the road. Many times it is a person that is always thinks about bigger things, but neglecting enjoying the little things that he can find on his way. So so when this card is negatively aspected, and it is negatively aspected because it comes right after the indecisiveness card, it shows us impatience. It shows us being unsatisfied. It shows us some kind of over self-confidence and difficulty in dealing with reality as it is, and also difficulty in starting something new, difficulty in new beginnings. So everything that is connected with that person, with that bodyguard, is first of all we can see that they are unable to make a decision on whether they want to keep him or not, but it is also connected to their wish to get to that victory so quickly that they are neglecting the little details. They are neglecting looking deeper into things. They very quickly doing things, they made decisions beforehand too quickly because of their urgent need to get to that victory so quickly, so that they just couldn't wait for it. That is the impatience. So this is what the energy of this card tells us. So this can show us that they are in a way still happy with the way that he is working. They are still happy with the protection that he gives them, but also it shows us the impatience. And in a way, someone said that they saw that he worked for the Jacksons and that was good enough for them, so they didn't check any further. And this card shows us that that could very much be the case, because that was some kind of a status symbol to have a bodyguard that used to work for the Jacksons, and maybe he managed to convince them that he is that he has the light attributes of the student, and that he learned from his mistakes, and that he's not going to do them anymore any longer, and that he has the humility to admit to his mistakes, and he's devoted to learning how to become a better person, and maybe they believed him. So all of these are possibilities with this card of Four of Wands. So the third card is the Ten of Pentacles. And the Ten of Pentacles is a card that is the end of the road in the Pentacles suit. So that is the final solution or final result. And the Ten of Pentacles is a card that speaks about reaching this small piece of heaven, having this richness, abundance, happiness. This is like having the happy family. This is having everything that you want because you worked hard for this. And as I saw before in Prince Harry's reading, this is what he wants. This is what he wishes. But this card also shows us over materialism. It also shows us loss, greed, fear of loss, and someone who is thinking about money all the time, and because of that he's neglecting other things. So we see that around the Sussexes all the time. They are over materialistic, they think about the money all the time, and maybe Mr. Alvarez wasn't so expensive, as we know. Being a body, having a protection 24/7 is very expensive. Very expensive. So maybe Mr. Alvarez did not charge as much, but there is no doubt that some kind of materialistic factor was part of the decision to hire him. So the underlying energy of this spread is the card of Six of Pentacles. And Six of Pentacles, that's the card of the second result in the Pentacles suit. And this is a card that speaks about you get what you deserve. What you give, this is what you get. So this is a card that tells me that they are getting their money's worth. So they were willing to pay such and such amount of money for their security. This was the best they could get in that amount. This is how much they could spend on security, and that person was available for that kind of salary. So that makes me feel that the money decision or the money considerations was a very big consideration here, and Mr. Alvarez was probably not as expensive as other bodyguards are. So that is the underlying energy, sorry. And the energy that comes in the middle of the deck is the Empress. And the Empress, that is the Mother card. So we know that Prince Harry wants to protect his wife because he sees her as his mother reincarnation, and his mother died because she wasn't protected enough. She also died by a DUI driver who drove the car she was in. The driver that drove the car that Princess Diana was in was under the influence. So it's not surprising that the Empress card came up here, because this is a lot around the mother. And the mother is, and I think that right now when the truth comes out about the fact that this person was caught driving under the influence, that brings up Diana and what happened to her in Harry's mind very, very fiercely. Also, the Mother card is a card that speaks about giving everything that you have. But when it is negatively aspected, it shows hesitancy, it shows difficulty in placing borders, it shows jealousy, and it shows attraction to destructive people. So that could be destructive partner, but that could also be a destructive person like this Mr. Alvarez. So this is the energy that came in the middle, the Empress, the mother, something that Prince Harry sees his wife as first of all the mother of his children, and of course his mother reincarnation. So in a way this was a reason why he thinks that he needs that 24/7 security, because he needs protection to protect his wife, to protect his children, so nothing will happen to them. And he himself said that he couldn't protect his mother when he was a little child, so he had to protect his wife. So this is the tarot around the fact that the Sussexes decided to hire this person, and the oracle cards are the fallen angel oracle. So let's see what kind of energy can we find around Mr. Alvarez in this oracle deck. I have to admit that I thought that I will get a lot worse cards than we did, but this is what we got. That's what the tarot is. Sometimes you get surprises in the way. Okay, so let's clear the deck. Okay, so Mr. Alvarez, the bodyguard who worked for the Jackson, was arrested for DUIs and for domestic abuse. What is the energy around him? Energy around Mr. Alvarez, the bodyguard of the Sussexes. And the card that I'm getting is Raum, upheaval. Okay. So this energy is the energy of a bloody revolution threatens. Choose the side you support with care. So Raum's totem is the crow. It is a bird who thrives on war and carnage. And this angel presides over the destruction of proud rulers and empires, but not just out of malice. It's not usual for those who overthrow oppressive regimes to become just as oppressive themselves. So, this is the energy surrounding Mr. Alvarez. Upheaval. Not a very good energy for someone that is around your children 24/7. Okay, so let's see what they will decide to do with him. And maybe they already did. So this is it for this reading. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment. I'll see you in the next one, and I hope that tomorrow I'll be able to do more readings. Today I have to go and get ready for the Friday night dinner with the family, so I'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye.